your host, Joy Behar.
Welcome back. Did Kamala foot the bill so a suspect could kill? Yet they donated to the bail fund at her request. Now a man has been shot in the chest. And now with liberal lawmakers as their friends, career criminals are free to offend. 3 rhymes. George Howard allegedly shot another man dead last month in Minneapolis. He was arrested before in a domestic assault case, but sprung from jail a couple of weeks prior with money from the Minnesota Freedom Fund. The same group Kamala Harris urged her Twitter followers to donate to during the 2020 campaign. You know, so they could free more mostly peaceful protesters who go on to commit mostly peaceful assaults and murders. Speaking of lefty policies that boost crime, bail reform allowed this guy to allegedly punch out a deaf woman on the New York subway just days after a similar attack. Violent crime has literally become rinse and repeat thanks to liberal policies. And get used to it, New Yorkers. It's all thanks to the human Easter Island statue, Bill de Blasio, who replaced, if you see something, say something, with you're on your own, nobody's listening. And finally, in Oregon, video showing shoplifters waltzing right out of a Lowe's with thousands of dollars in electrical wiring. I've seen people walk out of Golden Corral quicker than that. Store employees are helpless to stop them, bringing new meaning to the phrase do it yourself. Apparently, jails aren't booking shoplifting offenders to cut back on inmate population during COVID. The good news, because brazen broad daylight thefts have become so common, stores in Portland now have an express lane for people shoplifting 12 items or less. Rick, has anybody tried to shoplift in your pawn shop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen. I mean, no, I mean, like, before the shows 15 years ago, I mean, it wasn't your nicest part of town. And,
right.
And you've also seen him, like Antoine on my show. Mm-hmm. I got him and a lot of other guys like that who stand at the door and, like, I don't care if it's, San Francisco, it's under $900 or whatever. Like, if it's $5, you're getting stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just common sense.
Yeah.
So if you remove the motivation not to commit crime, which is getting your ass kicked or arrested, then you're going to commit crime. That's what got Kat on the straight and narrow. Remember? You were just a chronic thieving hellion.
No, I wasn't, but I did, not to brag, but I did have sort of the same problem as some of these Democratic politicians have in running these cities. And like I had to learn the hard way in my 20s, they're going to need to learn that not every crook, degenerate bum is just like a misunderstood artist that was dealt a bad hand and can maybe be better with your love.
Right.
Like there's such a thing as a bad person. In all these stories they say, look, I don't think that those people, for example, were stealing that electrical wire because they had to feed their family.
Yes.
Right?
Unless they're family of robots.
Unless that. Perhaps that's true.
Maybe it is true. Did you look into the research? I didn't think so.
No, because I think that research exists in your head only. But
no one's going there.
People are talking right. No, God help us all. But these are not like petty. This is not like we're talking about like petty crimes or nonviolent stuff. Domestic assault and assault. Yeah, I think those people should probably stay in jail.
Yeah. So Tyrus, I have the solution. Do you want to hear it?
I have no choice. It's your show. You made it.
Okay.
You're the king of late night. All hail the king. Please enlighten me with your hysterical knowledge.
Okay.
Sire.
They don't want people stopping the people leaving with stuff because they don't want anybody to get hurt. So why don't you have, it's like a t-shirt gun filled with like stinky goo, like a really bad smelling thing. And don't shoot the people, you shoot the goods because you're already going to claim it on insurance. And so they can't sell it. If everything they steal smells like poop, you're only going to be able to sell it to kill meat. No, it's unsellable. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Have you ever been to a recycling yard? It doesn't smell that nice.
That's true.
They'll be able to sell the copper.
Here's the thing, Lord Gutfeld. Kat made a great point. It's not people who are stealing for help or food. These guys stole those wires to rip them out and slang the copper.
Oh, really?
It's big business. They went in there, they stole all that stuff. They're probably going to make a couple grand on all the copper wire. That's why they're stealing wire.
Right.
The professional criminals. They had the guy driving the car on the outside with the thing ready to go.
And the fake license plate.
The fake, yeah, like, but it doesn't matter. At this point, he literally could make a TikTok dance video and lip sync while they load the stuff in there and get likes and make money off TikTok for all the retweets or replays or whatever it is those damn kids do with TikTok. He could do all that, still make money, and never go to jail. The sad thing is there was that one young man who wanted to stop him, and his partner said, "Don't."
Yeah.
Because that guy's going to get fired.
Right.
He would be the one arrested for assault.
Exactly.
Not the stealing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, and the good thing is I live in Louisiana, and when that happens, it's called skeet shooting.
Yeah.
So when they run out of the store with their stuff, pull, boom, new record.
We're heading towards a vengeance culture. I have a question for you because you claim to be a lawyer. So this guy in New York City was beat up somebody, arrested, then released, throws a deaf Asian woman down the stairs onto, I believe, the subway tracks. Why couldn't she sue the city for billions or millions of dollars? Because that would end this no bail reform like that if the city was getting sued by these victims.
Well, she could. I mean, and the issue is whether or not it's successful. And here in New York, part of the problem that we're seeing in contrast to Jersey is that the same bail reform laws are on the books, but they removed judicial discretion here in New York. So all of these people are saying, my hands are tied, whereas in Jersey and other places, a judge could step in and say, absolutely, this guy participated in a hate crime, and in contrary to the classifications that fall under these bail reform, which include horrible things like assault, including some sexual assaults as well involving children, minors, and hate crimes, then they could say this guy needs to be off the street. But this is the problem with these overbroad decisions, one-size-fits-all criminal justice reform decisions. When you take away that individualized discretion, then there are hideous consequences, unjust consequences on both sides, right? Unjust detention and unjust release. And meanwhile, when you tack on the performative, cheesy celebrity endorsements like Kamala Harris and everybody throwing in their money, then it just becomes combustible. And now we're seeing someone died because of it.
We're looking for 3,500 square foot.
I like my outfit.
Yes.
Want to flip it, fix it.
Yes. Up next, what the Taliban lacks in diversity, they make up for in perversity.